I've had a lot of people ask me for updates on my server. My main server is Zeus. If you don't know about that, you can check out the little card up there. But since I have said before, not a lot has changed since I've built that server, I wanted to take a different approach. So in today's video, I want to answer a different question, one I don't get as often, but still a pretty good one. And that is, Jason, why the hell do you need a server so powerful to run Plex, especially when you're not going to be using that many streams at one time? It's a good question. So again, if you are unfamiliar with Zeus, my dual Xeon processor, I have put links up in the cards above that you can click on to follow along the vlog process of me building that server. But without diving too much into it, it is a dual Xeon 32 core, 128 gigabytes of RAM server that I built specifically to handle Plex. Now, of course, I don't need a server this powerful for Plex. You just don't. At least, probably don't. I mean, if you have like 15 different people in your household wanting to watch TV all at the same time, more power to you. I think a lot of people's home usage is going to be probably ranging between 2 to 4 streams at any given point. I have no numbers to back this up. I'm just taking a wild guess here. That's it. Actually, post below. Tell me what you use concurrently at the same time. I would love to hear. Just comment. So moving on to the main question of this video. Why did I need a server as powerful as the one I got to serve just my Plex users? Well, the answer is I really don't. You see, when I bought the server, I had a couple goals in mind. Primarily, I wanted to make a good video series, something to where I could upload and kind of show people what I did, what I built, why I went with such and such. It was just kind of an interesting project that I could upload to YouTube. But on top of that, it was a learning experience because I've actually never dealt with, repurposed enterprise gear. And I just really wanted to test it out. I wanted to see what it was all about. And it wasn't like normal PC building. There's a lot of little things that were different. It was the same basic concept, but it was totally different in a way. So I enjoyed that learning experience and I wanted to do that. But to any of you out there that might be thinking about getting into repurposed enterprise gear like this, and you're thinking about building your own server and you hop on eBay and you find these awesome deals and you might think, why the heck do I need 32 cores? Well, there might be a few different reasons. For me, I looked into future potential, projects that I might want to get into the future where I could deploy them or test them out or whatever I wanted to do without drastically affecting the performance of my Plex media server. Because at the end of the day, this server is meant to serve Plex. That's what it's there for. Everything else, icing on the cake. So I wanted something that can handle VMs or virtual machines, Docker applications, things like, cloud services or backup services. But I also wanted to look at other things like home automations or security software to all be wrapped into one server. So plans aside, let's talk about what I'm running right now. As a daily driver, I run CrashPlan. CrashPlan allows me to back up main folders off of my main computer, along with image backups of my main computer, along with a few other things that I have offsite backing up to it as well. CrashPlan is great, takes a little bit to get working, or at least it does the first time around, but after it's set up, you just kind of set it and forget it. In fact, they even email you like a report of how you went. I think it was for the month, so it's pretty cool. I also run a Docker called Cups. Now, Cups is basically a print server that connects to the printer that I have hooked up downstairs, and it kind of acts as a pooling service or a log service. Really, this boils down to curiosity. I install something because I'm curious what it can do. I get it up and running. I'm a little impressed by how it works and what features I have, and I just kind of keep it. I also run DuckDNS, which is just a dynamic DNS service that allows me to update my dynamic IP to make it a more of a static addressable URL that I can access for whatever reason. Of course, I run Plex and PlexPy because both of those just work beautifully together. And I have actually installed ZoneMinder, which is a security software suite that works with security cameras. But aside from a little bit of testing that I've done, I haven't actually deployed that into like a full workable service that I rely on or use on a daily basis or anything like that. All I've done is really play around with it. On that note, I'm actually saving that because I want to do a security camera video type of thing, but I've been looking for security cameras that, meet a certain amount of criteria. Like they have to have good enough quality that I can make out a face, and or if I deploy it outside, can also make out a license plate. I think that's kind of a crappy deal when you have a security camera that catches a car, but you can't tell what the license plate says. I think that's kind of pointless. Has to have decent night vision, has to, come at a decent cost, that sort of thing. So I'm still looking for that, not terribly aggressive, but that is a future plan down the line that I want to do. Also, I run a VM, a Windows 7 VM. Now this is basically just for farming in a game. I run about 30 different accounts in an online game that I play. I'm actually terribly bored with this game, so I'm probably going to stop playing it soon. I don't really want to get into what it is, but basically, I just ran into a point where I needed resources for something and I was tired of aggressively playing the game to get them. So I got a bot. No, it's not World of Warcraft. I'm not, like a World of Warcraft farmer or gold seller or anything like that, but I'm pretty much just as bad, So while I don't necessarily need a server as powerful as mine with 32 cores and 128 gigabytes of RAM, what I have now allows me to expand in the future to add on different applications, like let's say the ZoneMinder, where I can install a security camera software suite that will allow me to record multiple cameras at once and scrub through them, that sort of thing, without bogging down the actual Plex media server. The root of this server's entire functionality. Now this also kind of rolls into the operating system that I chose. It was kind of up in the air between FreeNAS and Unraid for me. I decided to go with Unraid because of the amount of storage that I get out of my hard drives. Because Unraid uses its own little style of parity, you're able to get basically if you have for example, I think I have 14 or 15 hard drives now. One hard drive is a parity for all of the rest of the drives. So I get all of the space usage out of all of the rest of the drives. Very little wasted space here. Now, of course, it's not going to be as fast as something like a RAID 5 equivalent, storage setup. And it's not going to be as reliable as something like a RAID 6 equivalent setup. But it definitely gives me a decent amount of speed to serve the things that I need it to serve. I can write to it with a cache drive with an SSD as fast as I can possibly handle, and it's a lot cheaper than buying two, parity drives, for per pool, just to get a little bit of added protection. So right now I have 60 terabytes of space. 60 terabytes, that's a lot of space for my needs. But it's shared between multiple applications, things like Backup Plan and Plex as an example. And with that 60 terabytes, I actually have two additional 4 terabyte spare drives. Pretty much, I've pre-cleared them in advance. I'm using them just in case one of my 4 terabyte drives fell, but I don't really need 2 of them. And if I really want to be honest with myself, I just haven't wanted to bring down my whole array just to add these other drives. I know that's kind of sad and pathetic, but I'm just lazy. And as it sits right now, I think I have like almost 30 terabytes of free space with the drives that I have available. So do I really need to add them anytime soon? No. Is it better for me right now to at least keep one of those as a spare drive just in case I lose a 4 terabyte? Absolutely. So if I could go back and make a different decision as far as building my own server like this, using repurposed enterprise grade, server hardware to do this, would I change? No. Sure, I could get away with using my old repurposed consumer computer I had with the i7-3770. Plenty of power for basically what I needed, pretty much. But when you get into a server like this, where you have so much room to grow, it allows you to experiment. You can run different operating systems. You can test different things. You can install different Docker applications to see, what they do or how you can make them work for you. Like sometime in the future, I might get into home automation, run with, smart lights everywhere, maybe some, different music players and different rooms, all controlled in one centralized location. I don't really know, but I like having the ability to do it. And even though I haven't set it up yet, I also like the ability of cloud storage, something that I can, take a picture and automatically save it to my cloud service versus something like the Apple cloud service. I haven't actually set that up yet because it's kind of a low priority for me, but again, I like having that option. It's just nice. Now I can say right now, most of the resources on my server go to waste. Even with my virtual machine running, all of the, like 30 different accounts that I have in the game that I play, my computer or my server pretty much sits at like 20 to 25% CPU usage at any given moment. I actually did try signing up with the whole Barnacules. He has like I forgot what it's called. It's that CPU thing where you can basically donate your CPU resources to like cancer research or things like that. I actually did sign up for that, but I quickly found out that even though I have 32 cores and I can assign, let's say 20 of them, to this processing thing, I just don't do very good. That whole thing is dominated by GPUs, and I could let that whole thing sit for like a month and probably rack up just as many points as somebody with a couple GPUs or one GPU running for like a few days. So to me, it's kind of a waste of power without much reward. The funny thing is, I can't wait to upgrade it. I can't wait to get into a new server just for kicks. Maybe go with a faster dual Xeon setup, or maybe a quad Xeon just to see if I can. I don't really know. I just like new computers and building new servers, and it's fun to me. And having the room to grow is definitely very. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you think that buying a server that's way past what you need it for, or your designated goal, is a waste of money? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And on top of that, if you do have a server or some kind of like a home lab thing set up and you use different things with your server, also let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and maybe some ideas that I could do, whether it's for future videos or for just something I could set up and tinker with. I'd love to hear. That kind of goes back to the whole beauty of having a server like this, where you have those extra resources. You can try out new things or tinker with different apps that are out there just to see what they do and just to see if you can make them work for you in some way that would be interesting. I don't know. So I know this video was kind of random, but I kind of wanted to address the server update question. But since I don't have any server updates, I had to just kind of go with the second best thing. But I can say this as a complete side note: if you are building a server like this and you have a main computer that's going to be doing a lot of work in conjunction with that server, like maybe you're moving large files over to it or something like that, you definitely want to invest in a 10 gigabit connection between your main server and your main computer. This has probably been one of the best investments that I've ever done, connecting my main computer via 10 gigabit connection to my main server. And it's just a direct highway. That's all it does, is just talk to each other in that 10 gig. I know a lot of people say, well, that's kind of a waste. There's no way you can saturate it. That's true. But the thing is that if you only have a 1 gig connection, you can easily saturate a 1 gig connection. Easily. Even with a spinning hard drive to a spinning hard drive, you can saturate a 1 gig connection. Easily. So if you were to get a 10 gig connection between your main computer and your server, at bare minimal, you can max out 2 spinning hard drives. But if you have 2 SSDs, one sitting on each end, all of a sudden your read and write speeds are just through the roof. So it's amazing, and it's one of the cheapest things you can do to get a lot more of usage and smoothness and responsiveness and everything from your server without just throwing a ton of money at it. So just a side tip, that's all. But hey guys, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe below if you haven't already. Please tell me your thoughts. I want to know a few things from you, okay? I really do. One, how many active, concurrent streams do you have on your server at the same time, whether it's transcoded or direct play? I'm kind of curious, really. And two, if you have your own server, a dedicated box, whether it's repurposed enterprise, hardware, or just your old, PC that you turn into a server, let me know what you use it for. Things that are aside from Plex, things that VMs or something that you run, something that you tinker with, let me know. I'd be curious to see what they are. Maybe if it's something that, sparks my interest, I might play with it in another video. Okay, now that's it, I swear. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.